know there's a lot of anticipation for the upcoming men's basketball season. Yesterday, CBS Sports analyst John Rothstein had this to say about it.
And you take into account that BYU is playing a schedule of this caliber, games against UConn, games against Wisconsin, games against Villanova, programs that have played deep into the NCAA tournament in the last 10 years, I think unequivocally you can say that this is the most anticipated season in the history of BYU basketball.
It absolutely is.
Not hyperbole.
No. Shep, do you feel like there's any argument against that?
No, honestly, I would love to hear an argument. Because, look, if you have a legit argument as to how another season is more anticipated than this, I will listen. And then I will tell you that you were wrong.
Yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, the only other one that comes to mind is going into Jimmer's senior season.
Yeah,
because of the way that the previous season ended and you knew that there was this buzz.
Yep.
But even then, I don't know how much we realized we were all in for that senior season.
No, we were hoping to be in the top 25, and that Jimmer was a preseason first-team All-American. That was all exciting and hunky-dory. But do you know what BYU was ranked in the preseason poll that year, Shep? It was 24. Do you know the highest ranking in BYU basketball history in the preseason of the AP poll?
Tell the folks.
It is 12th in 1973. This will be the highest-ranked BYU men's basketball team in the preseason AP poll ever. There's never been more excitement nor anticipation, and frankly, a higher end for a team in BYU history. In 1981, when BYU goes to the Elite Eight, do you know what seed they are in the NCAA tournament? They're a 6. Do you know what place they took in the WAC? 3rd. They didn't even win the league. They didn't even take 2nd. They took 3rd. This BYU basketball team is going to contend for a Big 12 title with Houston. And to me, that's not as, like, winning the Big 12 is not as big a deal as can you get a 1, 2, or 3 seed?
That's why.
And be in a great spot to make a historic run in the NCAA tournament.
And for that reason right there, that is why we are seeing the non-conference schedule play out like it is.
Yes.
This is all about locking up a 1 or 2 seed at the end of the year.
Absolutely.
That's what this whole thing is about, is to set yourself up for the highest seed you can possibly get.
And you don't play that schedule, like you said, unless you feel like you have a team that can meet it.
Right.
You said that last week. I like that point. BYU is playing a tough schedule, and this just in moments ago. It's official now. BYU will play Wisconsin on November 21st, a Friday, at the Delta Center in Salt Lake. Of course, they met in the second round of the NCAA tournament in Denver. BYU won that 91-89. BYU 22-5 in games that have been played at the Delta Center. Pretty exciting. That is official now. That adds to what we feel like is 12 of the 13 in the non-conference schedule, Shep. That is a great game. We made the argument last week that that is the best game on the schedule right now.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So we're talking about the schedule, and that's certainly a major part of why this is such an anticipated season. For you, is it the number one reason?
No, it's AJ Dybantsa.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask you.
AJ Dybantsa blows the roof off of what you thought BYU could do and be, because BYU has tried so hard to get that guy, so many times. And prior to the NIL era, that guy was going to need to be LDS and want to come to BYU. Missed on Chris Burgess, the whole Roger Reed thing. They've made up after, and Chris Burgess on the coach staff, which is awesome. And then you had Jabari Parker. You had the Frank Jacksons. The BYU lost out to Duke multiple times. Frankly, Sean Bradley was the big win. He could have gone anywhere. He came to BYU. That was the biggest recruit in BYU history, I think. Prior to AJ, now in the NIL era, combined with Kevin Young, and probably not even in that order, whatever order you want, those two things make it possible for BYU to attract a player of AJ's caliber. Yeah. And now you bring in Rob Wright, and you get a Richie Saunders back, and you have a Keba Keita, and you gather the Avengers of Kennard Davis and Nate Pickens and Dominique Diamande and young Brody Kozlowski and Tyler Morris and so on and so forth. The anticipation, the hype, the excitement is completely justified for who and what this team can and will be next year. I cannot wait.
Yep, and I'm with you. It all starts with bringing in the number one recruit in the country, because to your point, it attracts other high-level players that want to play with him for a couple of different reasons. Number one, they know that it will help their game. It also draws attention. They know that in all likelihood, they're going to win a lot of games.
Yep.
The other part about this is, and it goes back to the scheduling. Now, I don't think anything changes in terms whether you get Dybantsa or not. BYU still is going to want to schedule as tough as they can to be able to secure the highest seed possible. So you're going to go out and you're going to be very aggressive in your non-conference schedule, whether you have AJ or not.
But it wouldn't have been this, I think,
Correct.
without AJ.
Exactly, and that's where I was going to go. Number one, it wouldn't have been this for a couple of reasons. I don't know if you schedule that hard. Like, you're going to schedule some of it. You may not go to the extent that you've done it. The other thing is, I don't know if you get some of these games without having AJ Dybantsa. So
BYU does not play UConn and Boston
it's a chicken
without
or the
AJ.
egg type thing.
That's a game for him.
Right.
Because it's back near his hometown.
So it all starts right there with AJ.
Jimmy Fredette's excited about it as well. He talked with Andy Katz on his show, The Sideline, and said BYU's well-positioned to be a Final Four team.
We haven't really been in that position before, where everyone's talking about you from the beginning of the year, thinking that this is a Final Four potential team. Because of that, it's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of media. And then it's about going out there and reaching expectations or exceeding expectations. And I think they can do it. I think they have the wherewithal and the players to do it. I'm just excited to watch.
Jimmer continues to look more and more like his brother TJ, by the way. The older he gets, I'm like, oh, I see the TJ in him. I don't know if you guys felt this way, but this life is amazing, is it not, Shane?
Oh, it is amazing.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
is.
Nice call. So last week in Orlando, you had the Big 12 meetings, and there really wasn't a ton of earth-shattering news that came out. But there were a couple of little nuggets that we haven't really had a chance to talk about.
And like your boy Andy Reid. Give me some of them. Give me some of them nuggies.
Yeah, those nuggies.
Yeah. Barbecue sauce?
Oh, yeah, heck yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, no
Ranch?
question. No, I'm not a ranch guy.
ranch,
I'm just
okay.
not a ranch guy. Sorry.
Hidden Valley.
I'm hungry. Thanks for bringing that up right now.
You're always hungry.
I am always hungry. I eat about every 2 hours. It's kind of my thing. All right, I digress. The league said that they are not going to be seeking any rights sales from private equity anymore. That was something that was talked about a year ago.
Yeah.
They also mentioned that they were going to put a pause to the naming rights, selling the naming rights to the conference. So are you sad that it's not going to be the All-State Big 12 or, the Postum Big 12?
I was thinking it was going to be Redmond Farms. That was just by the way, great event, the meet and greet yesterday with the BYU basketball team. That was a lot of fun. I don't really care either way. Like, Brett Yormark's
I'm curious as to why. Because especially the private equity stuff made a whole lot of sense at the time. I'm wondering what has changed from a financial standpoint.
Like why was it kind of put out there?
Right.
In the first place?
Well, and
just to test how the reaction was?
It was also one of those out-of-the-box type.
Yeah. Which Yormark is famous for at this point.
100%.
Of like, I'm going to think a little differently.
That he would come up with some of these out-of-the-box thinking type options to bring in cash to the conference and to make the financial aspect of it more profitable for everybody. So it made total sense. I would love to know what has changed. Is it because it just at the end of the day the numbers didn't work?
Or maybe
you do not need it anymore?
Ponying up the money.
Yeah, it's true.
Because as we've seen, you can win a Champions League from certain nation states providing money. You may not agree with the ethics of said nation states. Like, I'm not sure what politically went into that and what the Big 12 feels relative to that.
I'm assuming that your bid for it to be named the Jarom Jordan Big 12 came in far below all the other bids.
Yeah, I was trying to get it for various companies, but didn't work out. They said, you're missing about 5 or 6 zeros. And I said, oh, shoot, that's my bad.
They're like, well, just to let you know, my bid stands. If you just know it's there.
I needed Travis Hansen to hook me up. He did not help me. I'm just kidding.
Oh, boy.
No, I don't really care. If the league does that, great. If they don't, whatever, it doesn't.
Here's the way I look at it. This league is in great hands with Brett
Allstate?
No. No, that is not what I was going, but it does tie in nicely. Well done by you.
Thank you.
I trust Brett Yormark has everything under control, and the decisions that he has made so far, they have worked, and they have been in the best interest of this conference. So if he feels that these two things are not necessary, I say more power to you, Commissioner, because I trust in what this guy has done so far.
Do you trust all of it? Because one thing I have a question about is the Big 12 Pro Days. I'm not sure this has helped BYU or necessarily hurt. BYU put on a great Pro Day before, we aren't getting the times and numbers immediately on that, and it bothers me.
But that's
I'm
more
like,
of a.
why do we have a pro day if we
Yeah.
can't know the numbers right away?
Yeah, honestly, that's not a.
And then
big
there were
deal to me.
complaints about sort of the turf and whatnot. So I don't know. I get the idea. In fact, I think the idea is pretty good.
Yeah.
Waiting on a little more execution in that regard. Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm with you. I think everything's been a smash hit, which has been great. So no private equity, no naming rights. Doesn't mean they're not going to do it. They're just
it's
for
not,
now not going that direction.
Yeah, it's not on the front burner right now.
Haven't found the right fit or the right reason to do it.
They're waiting for you to add a couple of zeros.
No, they're not. Nice try.